my channel. Today is a reading vlog part 2 of Supernova that I am reading. I stopped reading this in between, so I am continuing this now, and let's get ahead with it, and I'll keep sharing my thoughts about the book so far. So let's get ahead with it, guys. So this book reading vlog is going to have spoilers for the first and the third, for the first and the second book. This book is about two groups of people who are prodigies who have superpowers. One is anarchists and one is the renegades. And renegades believe that any prodigy who does not have who have powers but will not join renegades are considered to be anarchists or villains. And Nova Artino is a villain, and she loses her parents at a very young age, where her parents are killed and the renegades don't come to save them. So ever since then, she makes a vow to take revenge on the renegades. Her uncle Ace Anarchy helps her to take down the villain, and from then on she joins Ace and becomes an anarchist. And she has a team of friends called Leroy, who is very capable of making explosions, and then she has Honey, who can command bees, and she has Phobia, who how do I say, yeah, who he can intimidate you by telling your worst fears, basically. And then there are renegades, where there's Adrian Everhart, our main superhero, who is also known as Sketch, who can basically sketch things into life. And he also has a team of friends called Ruby, who can crystallize her blood. There's Dana, who is also known as Monarch, who basically remorphs into butterflies and traces people. And there's Oscar, who can basically create smoke. Oh yeah, he's known as Smoke Screen. So in the first book, Nova Artino joins the renegades as a form of disguise, so she can know their secrets and everything. And she joins them. She gets into the team. She is known as Insomnia over there. So she has two powers. One is that she can put people to sleep, which is also her nightmare power, because she's known as a nightmare and anarchist. And her other power is to not be able to sleep at all, because ever since her parents died, she has been unable to sleep. So that way she is basically the surveillance camera for the group. Now, in the second book, what happens is that she starts feeling very bad about keeping the secret, and anytime soon it's going to blow over. And Adrian is kind of suspecting her. No, he actually has no suspects of her being Nightmare, but he suspects that Nightmare might be his mom's killer, because Adrian has two dads called Captain Chromium and Simon. So Simon can go invisible. He's a dread warden, and Captain Chromium is one of the strongest Superman out there, who is basically almost invincible, because he cannot be killed very easily. He's a very strong guy physically. And Adrian has a brother called Max, who is called a bandit. So he is capable of stealing other people's powers and rendering them powerless, or at least steals a little bit of their power. And he is always in danger, so he's put into the quarantine. Now in this book, we are following Nova, whose identity is revealed in this book, and we'll follow on from there. So that's basically the recap that I've given you from the first and the second book, and I will not spoil this book for you, but you will see me reading and finishing this book hopefully throughout the week. It's not going to be a weekend or a weekday vlog, because I take some time reading. So this is how much I've finished so far. Yeah. So let's get ahead with it. So I forgot to mention one part of the entire story is that Adrian also has a secret identity called the Sentinel, and he's able to do this because he has the powers to sketch things into life, like I said. So he sketches an entire outfit for himself and extra abilities, and everybody does not like him, especially his dads who don't know about his secret does not like him, do not like the Sentinel. So Adrian kind of suffers as a vigilante, and even Nightmare doesn't like him. And not just Nightmare, but even Nova doesn't like him. So they're both keeping these secrets from each other, and the romance is like super cute, and that's something I really like from the story. It's keeping me like super hooked, and I really like that. The second book had this really bad book slump syndrome that it gave me, and I didn't like it. But I am enjoying the last book, and I'm glad it's this thing because it's holding the mystery, the action packed scenes very well into this book. Oh my god. I think Adrian found out who killed his mom because there's this quote. I'll read it out to you. One cannot be brave who has no fear. So this was a quote on Adrian's mom's body when she was found dead, and this guy has repeated that quote again. I think Adrian found his monster. Shit. Ah, okay, I'll update you again in a while. So I want to talk to you guys about this character called no wait, I don't know his name, but his ability is to show hope to people whenever they're about to attack him that there's an alternate way of seeing or solving this particular problem, and that character died, and because of that I think that there's a metaphor for there being no hope in the war, and that could be a problem for both our parties that are fighting with each other. And I think that's a very interesting thing to show in the story, and I think I really am enjoying the story because well, because certain parties being morally grey and they know what they're fighting for, but sometimes they're taking too far, and I really like that. The other thing that I really don't like in the story is Captain Chromium and Simon's very ignorant and stubborn behavior towards the anarchists. Like nothing will change their mind, absolutely nothing, and that can be a very annoying uh, characteristic or trait in a person. And I think they should be willing to change that. They should be willing to see a different side of anarchists and trying to solve it. So that's something that really annoys me, and I hope that it can get fixed by the end of the story. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. And today is 19th April, the next day of the reading vlog. I am so sorry that I didn't tell that yesterday. I didn't give out the date yesterday. So I didn't have any updates last night. That's why I didn't update you because I didn't get any more reading done from that book. Actually, I'm reading two books right now, which is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black and Supernova by Marissa Meyer. I have a habit of reading more than one book, so that's why it's gonna be a slow throughout the week vlog, and I will update you more when I finish more, and that's about it for now. Hey guys, hi. Today is 20th April, Tuesday. I know I'm updating you really late, and the time is 5:27. So I wanted to update about a few things, which are that I hate Captain Chromium, and I don't hate Simon so much, but Captain Chromium is an insufferable prodigy because his ideas of what a prodigy should be is absolutely crap, and I hate that Nova and Adrian have to stand up to them all the time. I just love the fact that Nova actually stood up to him about capital punishment and how it's very unlike Renegades to do something like that. And I'm glad that she stood up to him. And I'm also glad that Adrian stood up to his dad for Max being more than an experiment, being a human being, and that he should get better living quarters and that he should be able to live with and associate with kids his own age. So I really like that, and I think I'm very proud of Dana, who is Monarch in the story, who forms into butterflies. I think that her suspicions are in the correct place, and I think everyone was pretty dumb for not believing her just because the evidence wasn't incriminating enough. And I completely understand why she's still suspicious of Nova being Nightmare. So that's the update that I wanted to give you today. Not that I have gotten much reading, I'm actually just starting now, and I haven't made much of a progress, but I will today. And I will not be able to finish the book today. I think it's going to be a proper whole week reading block. Maybe I'll finish it before next week. So yeah, let's get ahead with it and see where it goes. Okay, update. It is. I have no idea what time it is, but I think it's somewhere around 7 o'clock. I don't want to check the watch because I'm not wearing any. But I'd like to give an update. So just now a war had taken place in Supernova, and I am appalled at the fact that nobody has realized that Nova didn't attend it. Like, even all this drama, it generally makes a person want to come out and see what's going on, and that didn't happen, and nobody even thought about it, and that's really weird. I mean, Aiden should by now have figured out who Nightmare is, or at least why Nova is not here when all of this is happening. So that's the update that I wanted to give, and let's see where it goes. Hello everyone, today is Wednesday and 21st of April. I read a little bit and there was a violent scene of torture, and I was very shaken by it. So I kind of had stopped reading after that for a while, but I'll get through it again because I'm kind of over it right now. Although I have a very good memory, so it might be in there, but I may not. I'll try not to think about it too much. But I mean, this is a YA book. I don't think such scenes should take place, or at least be described so well, because it's supposed to be also for children, and I don't think that they should have to go through this. So yeah, hopefully I finish this book today. There are many pages. I will show. So I'm through this much. This is how much I have left right now. Yeah. So let's meet again when this is over. So it is currently 2:55 p.m. on 22nd April. Today is Thursday, and I wanted to update for you guys that I finished Supernova. And well, guys, I have some thoughts. Let's get started. So first of all, I'd like to tell you that there are spoilers, and they begin now. So if you have not read the first two books, please stop watching this video. But for those who don't plan on reading but are here just for the tea, please stay. Not that it's much of a tea, it's just me discussing what I liked and did not like about the book. So guys, let's begin. First of all, I hated the ending. Okay, I have good reasons for it, and I'll start right now for them. Adrian sacrifices his powers to eradicate a fear that he himself created called phobia. Phobia is an anarchist prodigy, and he killed Adrian's mother, and now Adrian must end him so that he stops causing so much havoc. So Adrian starts himself with Agent M, which is basically a neutralizing agent that takes away your powers for good. And Alien starts himself so that he can remove phobia because it was his creation. So he feels that if he starts himself, he will remove phobia, and phobia will cease to exist. And that happens. And then Max gets hold of Nova's bracelet, which has a lot of power, which was supposed to be there uh, to destroy Ace's powers and his destruction itself. And Max gets hold of the bracelet, and basically Ace in the final scene, what he does is that he holds on to the buildings far away in the city. Basically, he's levitating them, and he can drop them at any time. But Nova kind of pushes him away or takes away his power, and suddenly he drops. And suddenly, Max has the responsibility of keeping the buildings floating so that the people inside don't die. And Max has powers of pretty much anybody he comes across who's a prodigy. So he takes up too much power, and because of the bracelet and Adrian and Nova and Captain Chromium being around them, lose their power. Now, they all get their powers back, everyone. And that's something I didn't like because when a hero sacrifices himself, I think it should not be in vain that they get their powers back. It's really not realistic, and that's what I didn't like about the story in the end. I think that if they all just lost their powers, that would have been a great ending because there would be no need for heroes and villains. So one of the most interesting things about the story is Adrian creating his enemy out of his own anxieties and fears. His fear is that he would lose his mom one day, and that's exactly what happens when he creates phobia out of his childhood memories and fears. And I don't fault him for it because he had no idea what he was doing. Nobody faults him for it, but it's really a very interesting concept that he could do something out of that. And by the end of the story, he basically fights his own demon, and that was a really appealing thing to me. And Adrian was one of the best heroes other than Narcissa Cronin. And Narcissa Cronin was one of the anarchists in the story who knew exactly what she wanted from the entire war. She just wanted freedom for her people who are also anarchist prodigies. Basically, prodigies who got rejected from the tournament to become a renegade. And Narcissa was very kind, and she loved books, and she was a librarian's daughter. But she had a redeeming arc in the entire story. She goes from being an anarchist villain to being an anarchist prodigy. Not a renegade, but a prodigy, and which is, I mean, good enough. And I loved that that happened. So there's something about Ace that I really liked. Even though his ideas were not good, I think that him treating everyone as an equal was a really good thing. I mean, he treated everyone as an equal. He told Honey when Honey kind of goes down to him that please don't bow down to me, you are queen. Because she can control bees. And that was really good. Even though he was an evil person, his treatment of equality was really good, and that was a very interesting factor about a villain that we see. And speaking of Honey, she became a very malicious person in the end. Like, she just tortured Adrian, and that was completely unexpected to me actually. I just stopped reading for a while because I didn't expect it in a YA book. And that was just really traumatizing for me, guys. Really traumatizing. Let's talk about Adrian. Adrian is the most sweetest guy in the entire story. I don't know how he just manages to keep shifting between trust and mistrust the whole time. I mean, he is so sweet, and so kind, and so patient with Nova, changing her sides all the time. But I'm glad that he stays patient and loyal to the end. And I love how much he stands up for her throughout the story, even when she betrays him, and that's That's a love I haven't seen in many stories in YA that I've read so far, and I just really enjoyed that. So I rated this book 4 stars, even though it's actually 4.5. My enjoyment got hindered basically in the end, and how much time it took for the plot to build up. I mean, the second book was kind of thinner than this one, and this is back to again the size of the first book. But I enjoyed this entire series. I think it was a great snack, and I loved traveling with these people, and I loved that Dana was extremely intelligent throughout the entire story. I think she really had her suspicions right from the very beginning, and I am very impressed with her detective skills of being a butterfly. And she was actually a really impressive character in the sense that even after she was stuck in her butterfly form for a really long time, it did not scare her, and that was really one of the most impressive things that I found in these characters in Ruby and Oscar and Dana. And I loved the chemistry between Ruby and Oscar. I think it was really emotional, and Oscar is the funniest guy I've ever met in books. So that's about it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this reading vlog with me, and if you like these kind of things, please let me know. I will do a few more. It will obviously span out through the whole week because I am not a fast reader. I take my time and I read a lot of stories at the same time. And one request, I would like to know if there are any good fantasy stories on Wattpad because I'm unable to buy anymore right now, and I am in a fantasy mood, but not in an academia kind of mood, more of a throne of glass kind of a mood, like a fade setting. So if you have any recommendations, please do note them in the comments down below. And thank you very much. Thank you for watching.